I have this topology created here in GNS3 itself. In GNS3, it has become really easy to implement XR and XE devices these days. So that is what I am going to leverage. So in XR, I have these XRV devices, and in XE, I have these CSR 1000 devices. So in this particular topology, I have assigned two major tasks. One is to ISIS L1 point-to-point IPv4 adjacency configuration on all these routers. At the bottom, we have iOS XE domain, and at the top, I have iOS XR domain. So in all these routers, I have to configure IPv4 ISIS point-to-point L1 adjacencies, and then I'll have to do the same for the IPv6 also. I have already provided IP addresses on all the interfaces. IPv4 and IPv6 IP addresses are already provided. Apart from that, I have also one loopback configured. Let me just show you a quick configuration on one of my router that would make it easier to explain further. So this is the router 1, and if you see, I have three interfaces: gig 1, gig 2, and loopback 1. So I'll move the router a little. Yeah. So gig 1 is going into iOS XE domain, and gig 2 is going into iOS XR domain, and I'm also advertising these loopbacks into ISIS. In most of these routers, the configurations are already in place. You can see that in logs, you can observe that LDP and then ISIS adjacencies going down, BFT sessions getting destroyed, and all. So basically, I have configured so many things here already. But there are two routers, one in XE domain and one in XR domain, which I have not configured ISIS. That is what I am going to do now, so that you would know the process, that how ISIS would be enabled on these particular routers, one in XE domain and another is in XR domain. So this is the router R2, which is running. I'll show you. This is CSR 1000V show version. If you see, this is running 1730. If you want to see the IP addresses on the interfaces, on gig 1 I have 10.10.10.2, gig 2 10.10.10.9. So this is the router. On gig 1 we have R1 connected, on gig 2 we have R4 connected, and also I have one loopback IP address. I'm going to advertise this loopback also in the ISIS domain. Similarly, I also have IPv6 IPs configured on the interfaces. On gig 1 I have one IP, on gig 2 IP address is there, and there should be an IP address on loopback interface as well. So with this, let's get started with the ISIS configuration very quickly. We don't need to put a lot of configuration, we just need the ISIS working. But on top of ISIS, I'm doing a little more as in my task it says that I need to configure point-to-point adjacencies, and ISIS neighborship should be L1 neighborship only. It should not be L2. So those things would require some extra configuration. Let's get started. I'll show you how what are the things that we need to enable and how to enable. So first of all, we need to go to ISIS process and enable ISIS process. Then the net ID I have been using a standard format in all my routers. So it is going to be 49.0.0.0.0.0.0.0.0.0 and the router number. So this R2, so it is going to be 200. And then IS type should be level 1, and I think this is all here. Now After this, I need to get into the interface configuration modes and put some ISIS related configuration there. So on interface gig 0, sorry, gig 1, I am going to enable ISIS. IP router ISIS, I'll put it under core process. Similarly, I have to enable IPv6 configuration also. So IPv6 router ISIS core, that is all. We also need to tell the interface about the type of the circuit. Basically, if it is going to use the L1 circuit or L2 circuit, so that is also required to be enabled here. The command for that is ISIS circuit type level 1. If you put question mark, it has level 1, level 1 2 or level 2 only, so I am going to put level 1 only here. And ISIS network type is point to point. That is all. Under this interface, I am going to copy this configuration, interface gig 1. I think copying would not work. I need to strip off some of the configuration. So I am going to just type the configuration under interface gig 2. So this is going to be IP router ISIS core, IPv6 router ISIS core, and then ISIS circuit type is level 1. I'm sorry, level 1. ISIS network type is point to point. That should be all. It is already unshut. So we see that over the gig 2 interface we have one adjacency. Here on gig 1 interface also we have one adjacency which has come up. The only thing which is left for now is interface loopback 1. So I am going to enable ISIS here also. The command to do that is IP router ISIS core, and for IPv6 also it is same, router ISIS core. That should be all. I am going to write the configuration. Let's see the adjacencies. Show ISIS neighbor. So as I said that I have some other configurations running in the network also. So you can see that as long as the IGP has come up, BGPs are also coming up. So this means that we have the reachability over the loopback also. That means we have advertised our loopback and we are receiving the loopbacks from other side also. So this looks good. Let me see the IP routing table. I am learning the loopbacks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sorry, not 2. 2 is local loopbacks, so we can ignore that. So 5, 6, 7. So all of the loopback addresses are learned here. I think this is good. Now let me try to ping any of those. One of the IP address which is sitting in XR domain. Yeah, it is working. And few more verification commands. For example, if you want to see some more ISIS related options, ISIS protocol is a good command to refer all the time. So it has qualified areas configured here, and the interfaces over which the ISIS is enabled, and also it tells you that if IP and IPv6 both are enabled on those interfaces. It says that generate narrow metric for level 1 and level 2. So I have not configured or changed metric type for now. I have kept it narrow metric. So I'll talk about metric in upcoming videos. For now, I think this looks good. If you want to see the IPv6 routing table, you can do that with this particular command, show IPv6 route. You can see that we are learning all set of networks and loopback interfaces from different routers via ISIS itself. So I think the ISIS IPv6 and IPv4 is looking good on ISXC device. All right, so if you see task 1 and task 2, you would know that I have achieved half of task 1 and half of task 2. So ISIS L1 point-to point IPv4 adjacency configuration on iOS XC device is done, and ISIS point-to-point IPv6 adjacency configuration is also done on iOS XC device. The thing which is left is both of these adjacencies I need to do on iOS XR device also. So since the video is already more than 10 minutes, so I'm not going to increase the length further. I'm going to stop this video here itself. I'll create another video which is going to be the part 2 of this particular lab, and that would consist iOS XR configuration for IPv4 adjacency and IPv6 adjacency. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to follow this particular series, please subscribe to my channel. Have a nice day ahead and happy learning.